What's brewing, coffee beans? Welcome to episode 3 of the Brewed with Agape podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa, and if you haven't met me before, welcome, and definitely go back to episode 1 and 2 to get a better idea of what you're getting into. But if you are a regular, I consider you guys regulars now. Episode 3, my regulars. Welcome back. Thank you guys for listening. This podcast is a self-growth podcast. We are really diving deep into ourselves. We are understanding God's love for us, and something that I've always felt like people missed when I started reading the Bible and falling deeper into my faith. I'm like, wow, the world really misses that, understanding God's unconditional love for you. So that's what this podcast is about. And I am in hopes that once we learn God's unconditional love, we can spread it to everybody and everything that we encounter on a daily, because this world needs it. Y'all see it every day. So that's why we are here. And man, we're in episode 3. So I didn't script out this episode. I don't know why. I just felt like the thoughts were flowing when they flew. Okay. And so I didn't script out this episode. So we're going to just see how it goes. We're just going to see how this episode goes. So bear with me. It's a little bit of a trial and error episode. But today's topic is going to be on change. And I think this is going to be a really good episode if I deliver it well. But change, as we know, can be scary, and sometimes it's for the good. And sometimes we don't realize it's for the good. So it seems bad, but it's really not. But we don't understand it till later. Ooh, right? So just to give you some update on Alyssa's life, okay? So funny because episode 2 is on patience. And in the episode, if you remember, and if you haven't heard it, definitely give it a listen either before or after this podcast episode. In the episode 2 of patience, I spoke about how there's something that I am wanting in my relationship with my boyfriend, and I know it's coming, but I don't know exactly when, and it's so hard to be patient about it. But so funny how a couple days after, okay, that was a Wednesday when that episode posted, and just a Saturday after, this, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see, but if you're not watching, guys, I got a ring on my finger. I got engaged. Oh man. Part of me kind of knew. I didn't know everything, but I had some idea. But really, truly, I was surprised. I was like, oh my goodness, like it's literally happening. What? Oh man. So yeah, I'm engaged. I'm a fiance. I'm in my fiance era. Oh my God, I saw a shirt the other day that was like fiance, like Beyonce, but fiance. And I was like, man, maybe I just need to get that. I don't know. But it seemed cool. So it's so crazy for the reason why I want to talk about this episode, because, okay, life update, right? I got engaged. Most exciting, most insane, crazy, like monumental part of your life. But like, let's talk about it. Let's get into it a little bit. So I guess my expectation to my excitement for when I got engaged wasn't the expectation that I expected. And that might sound like a whole bunch of like craziness right now, but hear me out. And don't get me wrong, there was like no disappointment at all. I was not in doubt. I wasn't like scared to say yes. Like everything about this engagement and this proposal and this next step in my relationship, I have been talking about, praying about. If I'm not talking about it with myself and just like out of excitement, I'm talking about it with my now fiance. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Like, how do you feel? Like, we've been talking about this for like months, and like, yeah, we're ready to take the next step. Like, we want to spend the rest of our lives together. Like, this is something that I was ready for. extremely happy for, excited for, daydreaming, dreaming, doodling in my notebook type of thing about. Okay? So just like we clear that air. But when it happened, and I guess like in the interim of it happening within like the day after, a couple days after, like that full week of the after proposal, after the engagement thing, like my excitement wasn't there because I all of a sudden became terrified. Like terrified. It was a change. It was a change in my title, in my relationship, right? And it's not like maybe a big thing about titles, but like at the end of the day, yeah, I'm no longer a girlfriend that I've been for the past 6 years. I'm a fiance. Like, what? Excuse me? Who? Me? I still feel like I'm 10. Like, hold on. And I didn't feel that way just a couple weeks ago, but now all of a sudden I feel like I'm 10 years old. Like, there's like, what? So that came over me, and I still didn't have doubt. Okay, so I just want to make sure that that's clear. Like, I didn't have doubt all of a sudden where I'm getting cold feet. It wasn't that. It was just like I put this fear and anxiety in myself that I'm gonna fail. Like, this is new. This is a change. I'm uncomfortable. I've never been a fiance, just like I've never been a girlfriend before I was a girlfriend in my relationship. I don't know, but this is different. This is like, whoa, this is a new territory. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fail. Like, in my mind, a fiance led up to, future wife, future homeowner. Like, I still spend my $8 every other day on a latte. Like, I can't save for a house. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna mess up. Like, my problem was like, oh my goodness, this is something that I'm gonna mess up. And it's all a part of change. Like, change is scary. Okay, let me just give a little experience. Prior to 2 weeks ago on a Saturday. No, Sunday. No, Saturday, Sunday. Yes, Sunday. I went to go get my hair done. Okay? And I already had the highlights in my hair from months prior. I just wanted to go get it lightened up to the ash blonde. Backstory, I've been wanting to do ash blonde in my hair for years, and my hairstylist always was like, I don't know. Like, he's an awesome hairstylist, by the way, because he just never did anything that I just wanted to do. He was always like, wait, I don't know. Like, I'm not comfortable. Like, I don't want to hurt your hair, damage your hair, break your hair, whatever it is. Shout out to him. He's always awesome. And then, so I've always wanted it. He's just like, no, I don't know. Like, let's do something else. Like, he's always like, nah, change my mind. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. And I've always like, okay, whatever. But I've always like asked about it again the next time. And, it's the same pattern. Anyway, this time I was like, hey, like, I have blonde in my hair already. Like, I want to lighten it up to the ash blonde. And he was like, okay, cool. You know what? We're going to go all in. And I guess I didn't realize what all in meant until I got there. And he kept on saying like, oh, it's going to be a long day. Like, make sure you eat, bring snacks. And I'm like, okay, but yeah, I already have the highlights in my hair already. Like, I don't think it's going to take that long. He was like, oh no, it's going to take long. And so I'm getting my hair done. He's like, no, Alyssa, we're going to go all in. You've been asking for this for years, and I've been shutting you down on it. We're going in. We're going to get you that ash blonde that you want. And my heart started beating fast. Like, even though this is something that I've asked for years, okay? I'm talking about years. Like, maybe from 2020, I first saw ash blonde on somebody on Pinterest maybe, and I wanted it. For years, I've been asking for it. And then in that moment, I was terrified. My heart was beating so fast. He left. He started putting the bleach in my hair already, right? And I was just like, okay, but like, I was saying okay, and I was okay with it because I know it's something that I wanted, but I didn't expect it that day or something. I don't know what the fear was, but anyway, he's putting the bleach in my hair, and I'm like, holy crap, like, we're doing this. Like, I'm literally like shaking in my chair a little bit, like, not like shaking, but like, getting hyped up, like, whoa, like, okay, we're doing this, whatever. And he walks away to let the bleach sit, and I started crying. And it's not because I didn't trust him. I trust my hairstylist 100%. Like, I know he would never do anything. He always brings it, and he never disappoints. Never. Anything I've ever wanted and asked for, he has delivered. And I've always been like so happy. and just like, what, you did it? This is exactly what I've asked for. Okay, so it was like it's not like I didn't have the trust in my hairstylist. I just was terrified of what people were going to think, what the end result was going to be. Like, did I just make the wrong choice? Like, is this going to be the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life? Like, what is this what is this, right? I cried 3 times that day. And even after he did everything and it looked stunning, you guys saw in the last episode, my hair was like Storm, basically. If you don't know who Storm is, X-Men superhero. She's like the superhero of thunder and storm and lightning. Yeah, that's what I looked like for a week. And it came out amazing. He killed it. The ash blonde was ashing. It was blonde. It was so cool. But yeah, to think, and when I go back and think about it, I'm like, dang girl, you really cried 3 times about your hair. Like, get over yourself. But it's just the change. Like, I've never had a full blonde head before. And so seeing it, like, I was just like, oh my God. But it ended up looking really nice. Like, it's something I probably wouldn't do again. Like, I'm happy that I did it and I took the risk I've always wanted to. And so I'm excited and happy that I did it. But it's like, I got a chance to see like, okay, you know what? It was cool. It's a vibe for a short period of time and I'm ready for my browns. I'm ready to go back to my browns. And it's already starting to grow back. If you're watching, like, it's already like, happy about seeing my roots back to brown. Like, oh man. But it's so crazy. And I think it kind of ties in to me getting engaged because, again, it's something that I've wanted for a while and have been asking. And I'm like, ooh, when are we going to get engaged? Like, blah, 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 blah. And then it happened and I was just like, ooh, like, oh gosh, here I am. Like, it's here. Holy crap. Like, am I ready? Oh my goodness. And truthfully, I don't even know why I put the pressure and anxiety that I did when I got engaged. Like, we're not rushing into anything. There's no rush for the marriage or the wedding or anything like that. Like, it's all going to be in its own time, and we are taking our time, which I appreciate a lot. So I don't know what I did, and I don't know. I've been trying to figure this out the last couple days and praying about it. If it was like an Alyssa thing in my mind that I was doing, or like, was it like a spiritual attack? And we'll get into spiritual attacks in a different episode where I can like really get into it for a long period of time. But I just wasn't sure what it was. And I really do feel like it was me. Like, I don't think it was anything. I feel like if it was a spiritual attack, I would have all of a sudden had doubt and like wasn't sure about him or anything like that. Like, I felt like that would have been a spiritual attack. But this was just an Alyssa thing. It was definitely just like me putting anxieties, the pressure to be like the perfect fiance, and what that looked like, I don't know. I don't think that exists. It can't exist. Like, nothing exists that's perfect. You know what I mean? Except for God. So I don't know why I did that to myself. And I think when it comes to change overall, it can be so scary, right? And you're already in a new territory, uncomfortable situation. You're not grounded like you used to be because you're in a new sudden change. It could be, a new hair color, a new wardrobe change. You're in a new city, in a new country. You're learning a new language. You're meeting new people, going to a new church. You're going to a new school, a new class, meeting new friends. You could be going from single to dating to fiance to a wife to divorce, single, dating to single, all these things is change, right? I personally feel like change is meant to happen in your life. I truly feel that way. That's just my opinion. Like, I feel like when you're going through a change, it's not supposed to be bad. It's supposed to be good, and it's going to elevate you and elevate your character and who you are to like the next thing, right? That's just how I feel. So even when a certain change seems scary and seems painful and seems hurtful right now, I think it's for the better later, right? And I think the anxieties come with change, the uncomfortableness, the unsureties of what's surrounding you in this sudden change. That's what causes it to seem scary and painful rather than realizing, like, oh, this is actually good. This is like a next step for me. This is actually something that's going to benefit me later on. But sometimes you don't realize it, right? You don't realize it in the moment. Like in the moment, I'm realizing like, oh, I'm gonna fail, but not realizing like the blessings that is gonna come from it, the things that are the maturity that is coming from me, the change is coming from me. So, you know what else is really scary about something changing in your life? You're already in a new surrounding environment, territory. You're not familiar with it. It's something different. You're not grounded like you used to be. And so when people have their opinions with your sudden change, and again, like it doesn't have to always be, I don't see change as bad, right? Whatever it is that you're going through and it's a change, it's not bad in my eyes. It might seem hurtful, again, like I said, but it's not bad. And it's going to show you how great this change is later when you're meant to understand, when the emotions are no longer there and you actually see it from like a logical, like this is meant to happen. Okay, cool, I get it, I understand. Thing with change that I noticed is that, okay, you're already in uncharted territory, right? You're already in a not familiar situation. You're not as grounded as you once were. So I noticed like people's opinion and what they think in that moment of your change is like 100 times more scarier. And like like their comments and their concerns and their thoughts and their words and opinions and whatever it is that they feel like they have to say. Okay, at the end of the day, mind your business, straight up, mind your business. But anyway, whatever they have to say, I notice like their opinions and their words, like they just cling onto you, like they are like sticky notes onto your body that they never would have been before. But because your mind is already kind of like attacking itself and emotional, you're already attacking yourself because you're in this new sudden change. Like their words do mean everything at that moment. And it's hard. Like somebody told me, like, oh, let's say you're so young, like you have your whole life ahead of you, right? When I got engaged. And normally that wouldn't bother me. But let me tell you, it bothered me that day. Like, it bothered me that day. I was just like, okay, and so what? But I mean, I say that as a deflection, but really inside I'm just like, oh my God, like maybe I am young, or like, dang, I am only 23, blah, blah, blah. And then you just gotta like remind yourself later on, like, girl, no, what? Get out of your head. Don't let them affect you. But let me tell y'all for real, that entire week after the engagement, I was not myself. I was just very calm, like quiet. Like I didn't know. It was like as if I was in a different city or country, like not sure of anything. I wasn't sure of myself. I wasn't sure of like anything around me. And it's because I was like in a new change. I felt like I was in a new environment, which was just so crazy to me that happened. Because again, like I said, I've been asking for it for a while. I knew it was coming. And then when it came, it was like new territory. What? So insane. And all week, I'm just like, I felt bad because maybe my excitement in that whole week wasn't the excitement that my fiance, now I gotta get used to that, fiance Shane, he wasn't expecting. And I wasn't mean or anything about it, or it wasn't like too dull, but like I'm sure I could have been more excited for him to be like, yeah, I did everything right, like, oh my God, this was perfect, she's so happy, like she's on cloud 9, like, and my responses were like very, yeah, it was great, oh my God, I'm so excited. It was exciting, but I feel like I could have been like more, I don't know, like in the movies, guys, like in the movies, like you get engaged and you're just like, oh my gosh, like you're just screaming on the top of your lungs, like you're just like this princess and everything is just magical and monumental in the moments. And I felt like I was supposed to be that way, and I wasn't. And I don't feel bad about it now, because in the day, like, that's the thing I'm trying to learn when it comes to these feelings. Like, I don't want to feel bad about it. I don't want to feel shameful about the feelings that I have, because it's not bad to have these feelings. It's just understanding it and like, okay, like you're just coping, and maybe I was just like getting to a new level and like having a little bit of sadness of leaving that part of me behind. You're elevating to a new level and it's like, oh wow, like the sad, like I have to leave that behind. This is a new journey. This is a new chapter, like a new thing, right? Even with my hair, like this is a new chapter. This is a new era. It's a new Alyssa, I felt like. And it's still me. Ugh, man. So when it comes to change, like it's just so, but you have to trust in it. Like there's a reason, like God is not going to put you in a position or a place if you weren't meant to be in it, and I cling on to that so much, like with anything, not just like the newest thing in my life of being engaged, but I'm talking about a new job, a new, like you're just meant to be where you're meant to be, right? And you can question it as much as you want to, and yeah, you can question it as much as you want to, but there's no point. What are you questioning? Truthfully, I feel like when you're actually in it and you're not paying too much attention of the why, like when you stop asking why, I think that's when you start getting your answer. Like, we tend to just ask why all the time. Like, why this? Like, why? Like, we always need an answer. Do we though? Like, sometimes, like, we need the answer to be written right in front of us. And we need to see the answer but not realizing we're already seeing the answer. Ever been in that? Like, oh, I just really want the answer as to why I'm in this right now. Why? And you want like a written letter or something or someone to verbally tell you like, this is why you're here. But you're not going to get that. Life is not about telling you why sometimes, right? Sometimes you're just going to be in the unknown for a minute. God's going to let you be in the unknown because you want to know why? He wants to know that you trust him. He wants to know that you're just going to stop questioning things and be like, God, you put me here for a reason. I'm going to trust in that, and I'm going to just be in it the way you want me to be in it. Okay, I'm going to just understand for myself. I'm just going to lean on you. I'm going to lean on you and not myself. Bible check real quick. Proverbs 3:5-6 or 5-6. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Do not lean. Lean what? Do not lean on your own understanding. Do not lean on your own understanding. Okay? Because when we do that, that's where the anxiety creeps in. That's when the questions creep in. That's when all the scare and the fear and everybody and wondering about who's going to say this and who's going to say that and who's going to wonder about this and what are they going to ask me. Does it matter? Why? We just need to lean on who? Lean on the Lord. Trust and lean on the Lord. And I promise you, you'll feel better. Whatever it is that you have to get through, whatever change that is coming upon your life and you feel like you need to get through it and you don't know how to, don't even stress about how you're going to get through it. Just trust that God's going to get you through it. And then you won't even have to worry. You're just like, oh, okay. Okay. Like, you know what? And let's say it's one of those situations where the change is hurt, is pain, is sadness. Cry it out. God, I don't know what to do. I don't feel like I need to be here. I don't feel like I'm meant to be here, but I'm sure that I'm here for a reason. Okay, God, I know you put this in my way for a reason. I know that you put this in front of me for a reason. You presented me with this situation as to why I'm here for a reason, Father, and I trust it because I know you have betterment in for my life. Okay, and sometimes we don't want to accept it, but we have to because we wouldn't be in it if it wasn't meant to. Okay, we wouldn't be in it if we weren't meant to. And I don't know who needs to hear that, but you're going to hear it today. Okay? It's so funny because when I was getting this episode ready, again, like I didn't script this out, right? But in the last couple of days of me like talking about this episode, like, making the decision about like, okay, I want to talk about this. This is so fresh. Like, I'm sure a lot of people could resonate with the idea of change and being in change and what it could do, how it can affect you, but also like reaping the benefits of it later, right? Proverbs 3:5-6 was in my mind, but it wasn't in my mind as Proverbs 3:5-6. I just kept on hearing like, trust in the Lord with all your heart, don't lean on your own understanding. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, don't lean on your understanding. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna talk about that. Bet, I'll put that in. Like, I know it's the Holy Spirit. I know it's God telling me like, this is what you need to say in your podcast. It's so cool. He's just so awesome. I also heard Jeremiah 29:11, and I heard it as just as it is, Jeremiah 29:11. Like, I didn't even hear it in my head, or it wasn't even told to me what the actual script was, or what the actual verse was. It was just Jeremiah 29:11. So I'm like, ooh, which one is that again? Let me look it up. And then it says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Okay, plans to give you hope and a future. And I was just like, you're so awesome. Thank you, God. Like, you're so great. Because that's so fitting when we need change, when we're in change, when we're going through change, okay? Like, he knows why we're in change. He knows why we're here right now. Like, he's not going to put us in fire, okay? It's going to feel like fire. It might feel like fire. It might feel a little hot. But when we trust in him, he's going to get us through it. And then we're going to be in like this garden of flowers and blooming and sun and beautiful springs and water and little baby duckies just flowing in the stream. And like, we're just going to be in that. And it's going to be the best feeling ever when you're in that. And you're going to look back and be like, wow, I was really stressing about that. I was really crying about that. I was over here having anxieties and panic attacks about that. Like, I am so grateful for where I'm at today. I am so grateful for where I'm at today. Like, thank you, God, for getting me through that. And I'm so proud of myself for trusting in you so that I can reap the benefits of today. Like, y'all, God is so great in so many ways because he knows you, right? He knows you more than you know you, and everybody else around you knows you. And let me tell you why. Because in that week that I was feeling the way I was feeling after the engagement, and I'm over here like stressing and feeling like in uncharted territory, and I'm in new waters and finding a new land or whatever it is going on in my head. That entire week I was just like not feeling it. I wasn't myself, like whatever. And the Friday, I think I was supposed to meet up with a really good friend of mine to do Bible study, and it didn't happen. We were just so tired to meet up and wake up that early. But I feel like sometimes there's a reason why we didn't wake up and go to Bible study that early Friday morning. And something told me like to get up, get dressed as fast as I can, and go to a new coffee shop. There was a new coffee shop that opened up in Orlando, and I wanted to go check it out for a while. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And then something that day told me to go do that. I, was chatting with the baristas, and they were so, so nice and so friendly. And I enjoyed my beautiful, beautiful latte. Okay. Beautiful. I don't know if you remember the first episode, but it was a perfect latte. Okay. It was a perfect latte. and I was also doing a little bit of Bible reading on my own that day. And like right after, I felt normal. I felt myself. I felt so much better. I was like okay with everything that just happened just 7 days or 6 days prior. I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah. I felt me again, and it felt amazing. Like I felt like I found myself in this uncharted territory again. Like it was just something that I needed to just reach back out and get real quick. Like I don't know what it was. I truly don't understand like what it was that I was feeling in my head, as if I lost myself for a week. I'm not entirely sure that that's what it was, but when I did something that was my normal, that was like my passion, that was like me, I felt okay. I felt happy. I felt great. I was normal. Everything was good. I didn't have no worry, no anxiety, no fear, no nothing in my mind anymore. I was just like, okay, great. Like I was happy, I was chilling, I'm smiling, I'm more excited, I'm planning things. I'm like, all right, let's go. And it was just so great. Like, I had to thank God for that because I'm like, He knows me more than anybody in the entire world. And He knows what I needed in that moment. He knew. Like, I could have slept in Friday, right? My good friend and I, we canceled plans. They're like, all right, we're just going to sleep in. I was like, bet, I need to sleep. I'm so tired. And then God was like, nope, get up. Go get dressed real quick, and you're gonna go get coffee. Now that sounds weird because it seems like I'm telling myself that, but no, because I would have just slept. I promise you, I would have just slept and been in my little schloggy like moment. But no, I did what I trusted in the fact that I should have gotten up, and I'm getting up and going, and I didn't talk to anybody. Usually I talk to Shane on the way to work in the weekday, and I texted him like, hey, I'm not gonna talk to you this morning. I just feel like I need some space. And that sounded really bad, but I need some time alone. That's what I said, not space. He was like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Let me know when you're heading to work. I was like, okay, cool. And I didn't talk to anybody. I just didn't want to hear anything. I didn't want to talk about any plans or future plans. Like, I just need to be within myself, and just like, I prayed on the way to the coffee shop, and I just need to be within myself. I didn't want to talk to nobody, and it felt so good. I felt so much better. Like, he heard it in my voice when I talked to him and spoke to him after. He was just like, oh, you sound good today. I'm like, thanks. I feel great. I feel magical. I feel like what I probably should have felt the day after, the day of that I got engaged, truly. Maybe. I don't know. But everything happens for a reason. Like, this is a learning lesson for me. Like, this is something that I can honestly identify in the future, and kind of just be like, okay, I know this feeling. I remember this feeling. I know what this is. Okay, let's try the things that I did to help me not feel this way. And this is why we're here. We touched on 2 great verses that talks about it really helps when it comes to change. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and not leaning on your own understanding, because our own understanding can cause anxiety and fear and scare and all these negative feelings, right? And then trying to seek out other things and other substances to help us cope, when we just need to trust in God's plan and his word and his everything that he has for us. And then you have Jeremiah 29:11. For he knows the plans for us, y'all. Okay? He declared it. And he's going to prosper us. He doesn't want to harm us. He doesn't want to put us through fire. Okay? He wants to get us through the fire. He wants to give his Holy Spirit fire, not the fire that burns. And he's just going to give us a great hope for our future. And that's just the end of it. Okay? So if you're going through a change, whether it seems exciting or scary, or right now just hurt and pain, just know that you're meant to go through it, and find your community. Find the people that are around you that love you. Find things that are going to help you come back to yourself. What are some things that are just, that's what I love to do. That's my thing. That's my hobby. Let me just go into it for a little bit and kind of find myself when things seem so unknown and it seems so like unfamiliar. Find something familiar towards you that you just can put your time and effort into. And just pray. Just pray. Get on your knees and pray. Sit there and pray and just figure it out. God's going to talk to you. I'm so sure of it because I know I've been through it. I'm telling you, God's going to speak to you when you pray. He's going to tell you. He's going to tell you what you need. But that is all for this episode. And I hope it goes well, even though it was unscripted. I hope I made sense in whatever I was saying, because some things were just flowing out and I was just like, oh, okay, we're just going to go. I swear that was the Holy Spirit. Like, I'm feeling hot. Like, I'm sweating. Oh, man. But that was a really good topic. I'm glad to have spoken about it, especially because it was so fresh in my life with something that I just went through. So I hope it resonated with you guys. I hope something about today's episode really hit you where it needed to hit you. And yeah, until episode 4, which I have no idea what's going to be on. I have no idea. So thank you again for all those amazing positives around this podcast. I pray that it grows. I pray that it just heals people along the way, honestly. So thank you guys again, my coffee beans, and until next time.